Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica, and in today's video, we will also see Mike, but as we were editing this, he was not here, so...
So, here we go. Part 2 of Christmas songs we don't like.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
No, it's not. Have you seen it outside?
Beginning to look
it's
a
warm
lot
and green.
like Northern European and American winter and shopping.
Mm-hmm. That's the real problem. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It's all about the stores and the presents and the lights.
Well, and clearly, it really depends on where you live, because
Sure.
what Christmas looks like here in Michigan is is not entirely similar to what Christmas looks like in, say, I don't know, Orlando, Florida.
Well, and that's just a weird cultural thing. The population continues to move, in this country, continues to move south and west, and yet all of our Christmas imagery is still stuck in the mid-century Northeast and Midwest.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we're actually just borrowing from the Victorian England.
Yes, exactly. When they were in the Little Ice Age.
Yes, it was a freakishly cool thing. Like, it was amazing. It snowed 3 Christmases in Dickens' lifetime. And he just wrote about every last one.
And he was like, what? Snow! Holy smokes! But it looks pretty, and so that became the image.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Norman Rockwell didn't help.
He's a very talented man. He's too talented. Whatever he wants is what we believe.
Yeah.
Because the paintings are that good.
This one was actually one I liked having put on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Do they know it's Christmas? So, during the 80s, there were a lot of very famous people who got very concerned about the way some people were living in the world. And rightly so.
And this is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It was very right for them to do so, because there was there still is a real significant issue of poverty in what would then be considered the third world. I don't think we really refer to it as the third world anymore.
Now we talk more about the developing world.
Yeah. But there was a real poverty issue in a lot of those places, food and health care and things like that, and it's still going on. It's a problem in process.
But there's 2 problems that come up with this song. One is that at one point it just became the thing to do to be in a big celebrity collaboration to raise money and awareness for some issue.
Well, there were so many aids.
Yeah.
Because, it started out with Band-Aid, and there was Farm Aid.
Yeah.
And some of those ones were very well done.
Yes.
And they worked out very well. Like Live Aid. Live Aid was huge.
And these are all... And to every one of these is a worthy cause.
Yes,
but sometimes people go after they go after a worthy cause for the wrong reasons.
And it really wasn't the charity aspects that was bad. It was they wanted to raise awareness for a famine and other things that resulted in not having food in Ethiopia.
And their response
was... Now,
was...
you may know Ethiopia from the Bible, when the very first non-Jew Christians showed up and got baptized by an apostle themselves.
The Ethiopians have been Christians for 2,000 years. As long as there have been Christians in Ethiopia. Yes, they know it's Christmas, even when they don't have material plenty.
Yes.
Meanwhile, this was a group that was largely British people, where Christianity came to them hundreds of years later. Perhaps you should ask them when Christmas is. They have a better idea.
Yeah,
They're like, oh yes, Paul said it was this day. Paul who? You know, Paul.
McCartney,
we want to raise awareness of the famine in Ethiopia. So we're going to do a song about to raise awareness for this. First off, we are not that this is necessarily a bad thing, but we're only going to have English musicians in it. You know, they were all British musicians. It wasn't like they were getting like a wide global thing going. It was just this group of British musicians led by one British musician. And also, we're not only going to write about how poor off they must be, but also how ignorant they must be.
I mean, it did end with essentially... almost word for word, aren't you glad it's them, not us? I mean, this was the most...
I believe that actually was a line. Aren't you glad it's happening to them, not us?
Well, yeah, but that's meant to convict your heart.
I'm just saying, on a song about,
Yes.
hey, we know nothing about your history, but we're pretty sure we do.
We know nothing about your history and your culture, but
We know enough.
we know enough. And
So-
thankfully, we're not you.
If you're watching us right now, and thank you for that, you're extremely, extremely blessed. You are, by world historical standards, filthy friggin' rich.
Yeah.
And we clearly enjoy lots and lots of plenty. But the vast majority of Christians throughout the centuries have been super, super duper poor. As our Lord himself was. So, whether or not it's Christmas does not depend on whether you can go to the shops and buy all the best toys or all the fanciest gadgets or have all the electric lights. Most Christians haven't had electric light and the faith has gotten by just fine. Do they know it's Christmas? Yes, they do. Better than you.
Next. What do you got, Mike?
Well, in relationship to that, we have songs like What Christmas Means to Me, that is basically about I like stuff. The Chipmunk song, which is about I want a hula hoop. Which I love the song because it was like the only non-depressing record that my grandma had growing up, so we played the Chipmunk song all the time.
But it's really grating.
Yes. We also have on the note of the Chipmunk song, there are a whole slew of comedic Christmas songs out there, from Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer to All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth.
To the brilliantly dark songs by Weird Al Yankovic, The Night Santa Went Crazy, and Christmas at Ground Zero. These are exceptions for this video. These are fantastic.
Yes,
Christmas songs.
I wasn't going to mention those two because we are mentioning poor choices, and those two songs are fantastic.
Hey,
they belong in a Christmas
I
playlist.
will defend Grandma Got Run Over to a Reindeer all day long. It is important that people know that if you go outside for frivolous reasons, you could be killed by a large ungulate,
by a
flying
by a passing sleigh pulled by 8 ungulates.
Yes.
And one that has a glowing red nose.
Yes. In the comedy ones.
Because he's a drunk.
Are kind of in a different category. I don't expect great theology or well wishes of holiday time.
Now, there is, of course, Jess, you had a very interesting critique of Do You See What I See?
Well, we've both had this critique.
Yes.
The answer is no. If they had seen what you've seen, you wouldn't have to travel all the way to the king's mansion and stuff to tell them about it, or all the other things. It would be like, yeah, did you see that? Yeah, I saw that. No, it's a big long. It's like a chain letter of Christmassiness.
Do you hear what I hear? You better hope so, because otherwise you have got some serious issues with your hearing.
You may be having audio delusions.
if not some neurological issues that you might want to have checked out.
But we have one last song on our celebration of poor Christmas music. This one, there is a real special place in our disdain. Merry Christmas, War is Over.
Which really has nothing to do with Christmas. And, well, it's got Yoko Ono in it. And
except for the fact that
That's an automatic disqualification.
Except for the fact that at the end of the song, they have all the children cheer, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
That's only making me think that they started some sort of children's cult. It's kind of creepy.
Listen, the Popish Pod stance is very clear. If it's got Yoko Ono, it's right out. So, Christmas is a fantastic time. The downside of Christmas is that lots of people try to exploit it just to make a quick buck, producing some sometimes theologically dubious, other times just bad.
Downright bad
music. So, have a very Merry Christmas. Comment below with some more poor Christmas music choices.
Yeah, if you think we missed something, let us know.
I'm sure we missed something.
I'm sure we missed something, but
sure
I want them to let us
Christmas
know.
songs I've never heard.
I mean, any of the songs where it's like, it was written in the last 5 years, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm only doing standards where everyone's like, yeah, you do constantly go around asking, do you know what I know? And then traveling to the next place. That is kind of weird.
Well, you actually, it's not just that you go around to various places asking people if they know these things, but it's actually kind of sort of like a physical song sung in around kind of a thing, because at each place
you go through the whole thing.
Well, like the night when basically you have this parade of people that's this parade of people and things that are moving across the country through these various places.
To end with the king, who suddenly comes up with the correct answer without having been told anything related to that.
That's why he's the king.
Listen to what I say.
Well, presumably he's Solomon. He's the wisest man in the world.
I mean, he's the king. He can say, "Listen to what I say." But
Because if you don't,
it seems a little. It seems a little heavy-handed.
All right, so like this video if you also like to complain about things. Subscribe down below and ring the bell. You can pretend it's a jingle bell or a Christmas bell that may or may not rock.
a silver bell?
Perhaps.
And until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love. Merry Christmas. You filthy animals.
I'm so disappointed that was not a real film. They made a fake film just for that to be inside of it. I'm like, I've always wanted to see that film.
I have always wanted to see angels with filthy souls.
Somebody should make that.
I want to know more about Johnny.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.